Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has written an open letter. In fact, in the first few paragraphs of that letter, he states that he reluctantly had to voice his opinion because he expected that he would just allow some of the key issues just pass through because he wants this government to work effectively. But let me run you through some of the key concerns he has raised. It goes on to say that since assuming office, however, the government of President Mahama has pursued a series of actions targeting Ghanaians who were legitimately employed during the previous administration. It is ironic that a party which campaigned on the wings of jobs for all Ghanaians is arbitrarily dismissing the same Ghanaians, now rendering them jobless, just because a different government employed them to put their talents to bear on the nation's development and income to cater for themselves and their families. Regrettably, these dismissals have been extended to directors who are public servants and not politicians. Some of the key concerns he's raising in that write-up. There are also reports of government's intention to terminate the appointments of persons performing critical jobs such as security personnel, nurses, teachers, simply because they were appointed during the tenure of the previous administration. Furthermore, there is a general atmosphere of insecurity with attacks on journalists. If you recall that the GJA held a press conference just yesterday addressing this concern about the attacks on journalists and demanding actions from individuals who hold power in the country. Now, he goes on to say in a statement that the use of our military to raid the homes of former government officials, this, I'm sure he's referring to the raiding of the private residence of Ken Ofori-Atta and communities, as well as mob attacks, mobs attacking innocent individuals and state institutions. This he's referring to the post incidents we saw immediately after the elections when it comes to hooliganism. Now, he goes on to state that he calls on the Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to be a president for all Ghanaians by putting a stop to this development, reversing the unfair dismissals and protecting all our citizens. So he has made his point clear. He wants the dismissal to be reversed. But then we've been hearing from Felix Kwachi also just yesterday, and he's been giving clarity as to why government took the decision. In his defense, he says that there were even individuals who did not apply for the job. There were individuals who actually, unfortunately, did not apply for the job but yet were still given the jobs. Individuals who the appointment letters were backdated. And so they have served notice that they would put up a new application process out there, and individuals who want to can get on board. But we just want to look at this whole issue and how it affects public service in the country. Thankfully, I have Dr. Marchi Boateng. He's a political scientist at KNUSC. Happy New Year, Doc. It's the first time we're speaking this year, I suppose. But then let me just get your thoughts on this. We've been hearing from NAT. We've been hearing from individuals in the political space, especially Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, criticized his government for revoking appointment post-December 7. I just want to pick your thoughts on it. What's your initial thoughts about this?
Thanks for this opportunity, and let me say good morning to our viewers. At the bottom of this, I see one main challenge. Ghana's inability to get the economy to work, such that employment opportunities will be created naturally, essentially by the private sector, and then individuals will take advantage of it. And talking about this challenge of unemployment and also the economy's inability, Ghana's inability to get the economy to work, some areas are really such that the challenge needs not be there. One area is in agriculture. And to the extent that Ghana imports a lot of goods, agricultural goods from different countries, the understanding is that we are exporting jobs. And then we also financing these economic activities in those countries that have been providing those, goods, foodstuffs to us. And this is an area that at least Ghana, could leverage on. So generally, this issue is coming up simply because we are not able to work. There's something in Dr. Bawumia's concern that is really interesting because although, yes, political parties should be making progress. Ghana is 32 years into the current democratic dispensation, and so we need not be repeating some of the ills of the past. And I agree with him. The use of the military to raid people's homes, I mean, it's a shame. It is a shame. We are not allowing our democracy to work. We can't really allow that dichotomy between the military, the work they do, and then the work of the police, be there, and it's not respected. Every now and then, we feel like bringing in the military, and we realize that it is the politicians who eventually tend to be behind all such things. So, but there is abuse of state resources, abuse of state authority, and these things should not be allowed to go. The individuals concerned cannot be rewarded with new appointments. We hear that, one Jakpa was, if indeed it is true that he was behind that raid, and then eventually he realized that he's been, given a post. Such actions are really not, they don't enable the public to have confidence in the public sector, to have confidence in the system, to have confidence in the powers that be. Creates an impression that they were behind, they were all interested in some of these things. We can't continue like that.
Many have proposed that probably a change in our constitution where the winner takes it all, kind of system that we run should be changed, especially because of the concerns being raised about the revocation of appointments post-December 7.
You see, I don't think we need to rigidly capture this down because this revocation of appointments should only cover political appointments. The dichotomy between politics and administration has always been there in all democracies. So just like Dr. Bawumia raised, public servants cannot be touched with a change in government. They should not be touched. I'd like to believe that all those who concerned, if indeed they have a case, they can go to court and challenge their, the revocation of their appointments. They should do that. It should not cover public servants. We don't need to insert this in our constitution to make it work. And let me quickly say that this constitutional amendment that people are placing their hopes on will not address the ills of the country. It is our politics. It is our politics. It comes out of our own behavior relative to power. The moment we get power, there are so many people who do things based on their own understanding and not necessarily based on understanding that they are serving the public interest. People use power to, resolve several issues. It is our politics that is the problem. It's not the constitution which is problematic. And to the extent that this comes from us, and both NPP and NDC in government, have been guilty of this issue. And I don't think it's going to stop. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's also a function of the person who is the president. If the president wants this to stop, it will stop. Right from the very word go, he will issue a directive to stop everybody who will want to embark on any such action. So to the extent that it is happening, it has the blessing of President Mahama, whether he likes it or not, whether he knows it or not.
We've been hearing from Felix Kwakye in his defense. He says that after going through the data, they found that some individuals did not even apply for the position for which they have been given the appointment letters for. Some individuals' appointment letters were backdated. And he also raised concerns about the qualification of some individuals. And that's the reason why government is going ahead to take this action. Is that justifiable enough?
Currently, what we know is that appointments to the public service follows financial clearance. We know that has been the practice. When you come to the universities, we don't have the full complement of the lecturers. They are all waiting for. Several lecturers have, shown interest to come to the department, found to be qualified to work. And then they put in their, applications, and the university is waiting for such clearances. So yes, if indeed the outgoing government behaved in such a way, it was also mischievous. And you cannot rule that out. And seriously speaking, at a personal level, I support any action that would discourage this practice of outgoing governments, mischievously, acting in some such manner, simply bringing in so many people that when they were there, were not ready to recruit them. Why is it that at the time that you were leaving office, taking cognizance of the nation's finances, you go ahead to recruit so many people? That is also improper. So I think what they want to do is not to rush through these things, engage the public in this issue, and let the public know exactly the numbers involved, the times that these people came in, the dates of their appointments, whether backdated. They should engage the public, get all these things published in the media, so that we will know. So I mean, we have a challenge, and I don't know, Dr. Bawumia didn't address that aspect of that mischief. I think he should have also made some concession that some such cases might have been involved, in which case you cannot blame the current leadership and its government for taking the actions that they have taken. Those actions must be taken, because how do we recruit when we don't have money to support it? Yes.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on News Desk. Valid points there.